5.
Welcome back. We're live on 5. Rachel Riley's still here on the pink sofa with me. Don't forget, later on, we're going to be joined by child and adolescent therapist Saskia Joss. She'll be giving advice on what parents can do to help manage their children's social media usage. But right now, you know when you suddenly meet someone you never thought you'd meet in a million years and you can't quite believe it's actually happening? Well, I'm absolutely bowled over to be joined by artist and star of the hit Netflix show, which I've been absolutely addicted to, Selling Sunset. It is only Amanza Smith. How great is this? Oh, wow. So happy to see you. Thank you so much for coming. Do sit on the pink sofa. This is Rachel, Amanza.
What do we do here?
I don't know, you can kiss, you can shake hands.
You're so smart.
You can do it. How lovely to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
I mean, I'm quite amazed because obviously I've seen you in your rightful place, looking at magnificent real estate and you know, looking at the ocean and wearing incredibly high heels.
I look very conservative today.
You do, you do. In Selling Sunset, which has been, I think, a surprise hit here. People were quite slow, I think, to pick up to it, and then suddenly, like, oh my God, this is so glamorous, it's so amazing, it's almost alien to us, the whole thing, really.
Yeah, it's so far away, right?
Yeah.
We're so far away. You guys are bigger fans, I think, than some of the people in the United States.
Is that true?
We have the UK fans are just crazy.
The UK fans cannot get enough of you. And we can't quite work out how much of it's real, whether you are real, whether you're a fictional character.
Real.
I'm just wondering if you are or not. You know, and are you really a realtor? Do you really sell property?
Yeah. We all have our real estate license.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to be licensed real estate agents to be a part of the brokerage, to be a part of the show. I think if you watch the show, you can tell that I'm probably the lesser...
What are the normal ones?
Well, there's that. But my passion hasn't always been so much of the real estate. I like the aesthetic.
Yeah, you're the interior designer. You're very
Yeah.
gifted interior designer. And the reason that you're here in England is you're also an artist, which I don't think we do get to know about you on the show, really, do we?
Well, last season they did show because this is all very new.
Right.
The art, it came about suddenly. You know, I've always been creative my whole entire life, but I started painting like on a big scale.
We're looking at one of your fabulous paintings there. Tell us a bit about it, because they're kind of inspired, you thought, by the robotic behaviour of the people that you know. I don't know if they're your colleagues on the show or not.
Yeah. Well, I watched the reunion of one of the seasons. I think it was one of the past seasons. I was watching the reunion of Selling Sunset. And then I went to my studio and I started painting, and a robot came out. And I was like, oh, interesting. I think maybe it's not just the girls and myself on this show, but we in life are so robotic, I think. We've just become like robots. And then we have AI taking over so much stuff, you know, in the world right now. And then I just really got into this robot theme. And so I just did an entire series of robots and
It's so mindful doing art there, isn't it?
It's fabulous. And you've got an exhibition going on here at the Grove Gallery.
Grove Gallery.
Marylebone in London.
Yes.
And I hear there was an absolutely sizzling opening night and people flooded in to see your
It was
work.
crazy. There was a ton of people last night. We could hardly move.
And actually, this feeds in, I think, rather neatly, which is convenient for me, as this is what we're talking about, into the discussion about social media and children. You have 2. You're a single mum. It's a big deal, obviously, and something that's very concerning and very exhausting and also very fulfilling. It's all of those things.
Yeah.
How old are they? And how concerned are you about them and social media?
My daughter's 15 and my son is 13. He's about to be 14. So they're just 17 months
We're looking
apart.
at pictures of them looking gorgeous.
Yeah. They would kill me. They're at that age now where it's like you have to have permission to take their photo. They don't want me to post anything. So that was about a year ago. I think we were in Hawaii for their spring break on vacation. But social media, they're not huge into social media, thank goodness. They both have Instagram accounts, but I'm very, you know, much of like a hawk. I see who their followers are. It's mostly their friends. I think both of their accounts are private. And they don't really post much. You know.
Oh, you got the dream. You got the dream.
Are you worried about what they might be receiving, what they might be looking at when you're not looking, about, you know, all that kind of side of life?
Yeah, I mean, they're such good kids, and I'm going to pat myself on the back. I've done a really good job of like teaching them what to watch out for, and what, you know, we're huge on like internet predators, and like I did a class on trafficking and like all of the different types of things.
Did you?
Yeah, there's
What a good idea.
There's just so much that parents don't think of. You think of like sex trafficking or children trafficking, somebody in a white van offering candy to a child. That's not how it works. That's not. There's
so tell us how does it work now?
I mean, people pose as, other kids online when they're playing video games, or whether they're just a lot of kids sell their clothes online, like Snapchat and different forms of they're trading clothes and selling clothes, and there's so many people that pose as young kids. And that's where people really can get into trouble. There's multiple other.
So you've done a terrific thing in going to a class to equip yourself with the information so that you can then inform your children. Yeah,
it's
very probably we need a whole lot of those over here, Rachel, don't we?
I think we need help, don't we? Because the social media companies, they're there to keep us online, to get us addicted. Because the longer we're online, the more ads they can show us, and the more money they're taking.
Absolutely.
And we don't know the half of.
But what we do know is that the social media bosses are forever giving interviews saying they don't let their kids anywhere near.
Nobody.
Absolutely. Mike Zuckerberg doesn't have his kids having a good look. Jeff
whole...
Bezos' kids weren't allowed to look. It's just our poor old kids who are there getting the ads sent to them, and all the nasty stuff that you say within 3 minutes of looking at a really revolting video. You get more and more and more sent to you. Let's go to the phones, which have really absolutely lit up with this subject, and thank you so much for calling today. Let's go to Helen in Warwickshire. Helen, what do you think about this one?
I'm very, very much against children being allowed onto the social media. And I really do think that we are complicit. If we allow them, we are complicit in the abuse that they are suffering. So do not abuse your children. Find out as much as you can. Do not allow them to have anything to do with the social media till they're 16 or so, when they can think for a little bit more for themselves. It's our job to care for our children, to look after them, to keep them safe. And by allowing them to have social media, you are throwing them to the wolves.
I mean, I get every word you say, Helen, only I think that what lots of parents feel about this is, number one, it's Pandora's box. You can't put the lid on it when it's already there and out there. But number two, their children will be socially isolated. They'll be sort of pariahs. They won't know what's going on. They'll be, they'll be living this peculiarly weird life when everybody else is doing something that they're excluded from doing. What would you say about that, Helen?
Not if all parents get together. If you can band together to keep certain things from your children, or to take your children a certain way, for instance, into sport. Look at the parents that are involved in sport with their children. Why can't we do that where the harm is? If we can do it for where the good things are, why can't we do it for where the harm is? And band together and say, no, none of you are going to go on social media until you're 16 or so.
See, I'm with Helen.
I love Helen.
I am Helen. She is me. I am her. I totally get this.
I mean,
but you two are sitting there. You're much younger than us, evidently, although Helen sounds very young on the television, definitely. What's your take, Rachel, first, and then you, Amanda?
I love Helen. I think this is a great opportunity. If Australia is actually doing this, we're going to have real data. We're going to see what these kids were like when they were on social media and afterwards. There was a study they just did in Norway. A school banned social media, and the incidence of mental health consultations went down. The incidence of bullying went down. The grades and the maths results went up. So I think this is a really interesting opportunity, and it's absolutely right. You can't do it to that one kid, because that one kid's going to be like, why am I the only one?
So you've obviously, taken steps. You've really armed yourself, equipped yourself with the best possible means of protecting your own children. Could you imagine what would happen if you said to them, that's it, no more social media till you're 16?
I mean, honestly, I think it's per household, right? Like my kids, they're really not on it that much. Right. I think maybe Snapchat. If I took away Snapchat, I think they would freak out, because that's like their form of texting. Yeah. They really don't text it anymore. It's like, it's all Snapchat, but it goes away. It's like you can say anything on Snapchat. It goes away within, I think, 24 hours.
The messages don't stick around. They evaporate kind of.
But they're not huge on like Instagram and TikTok.
That's for old. That's oldies.
So my kids it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but I'm only one household.
Absolutely. Let's go to George in Dorset. Hi, George. You've got strong views on this one too. Hi.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Well, yes, I do believe it should be banned for them until they're at least 15. What we have to remember is we cannot make children, kind of make them illiterate. They have to be literate where computers and things like that is concerned. But when you have I don't know how many, but a lot of parents, they're not irresponsible. They just don't understand or don't see what they're doing. They put the phones down, the children see them. There's been young children I've even seen some of these pictures that children show each other, and they're the most disgusting pictures you've ever seen in your life. And they grow up like this, with all these games and swearing on, I'm sorry about the TV, but swearing on the television. And the problem is, parents allow their children, or it becomes part of society. They just do it.
Well, there's no question. You're quite right. It has become the norm. It really has. And if you and if you were the parent who stood up against it, it'd be like being the crazy parent of that weird family where they didn't have a television. And there was always one poor kid in the class who didn't know what you were talking about when you said Cracker Jack or Blue Peach or whatever, because they didn't have a television. They were just forced to make toys out of old flannels or something. Nobody.
I'm assuming those are pretty popular shows.
George, very popular. George, thank you. Let's go to Tom in 5. Tom, you've got a different view. Thanks for calling.
Yes, I actually believe it's the parents' fault. Who pays for their internet connections? Who pays for their up-to-date phones?
Well, the parents pay for the phones, but I think the feeling among lots of parents is they've almost got no choice, Tom. You know, if they don't do it, their kids will be socially isolated. They'll be the peculiar ones. They don't want their kid to be the one that doesn't get invited or gets left out. It's that type of... It's peer pressure, isn't it?
No, but you can actually put filters on your phone. I've got a filter. I actually have a contract phone, and I've got to go through a lot of questionnaires to actually allow me to. I don't look at anything dodgy like that, Miss Phelps.
Listen, I'm not your mother. You can look at whatever you like. I'm not policing you, Tom. You sound like an adult to me. I wouldn't judge you if you did.
No, I was brought up, not dragged up. I use people's surnames until they tell me otherwise. But I believe it's the parents' fault. If you give a kid a phone and you allow them access, when you can actually go into, I don't know if I like to actually say the company I'm with or not. It's a major company in the UK, and I've got to go. To play games, I've got to actually give lots of different passwords and everything.
I don't know why Tom's being sort of bossed about by his phone company in this way. He sounds like a grown-up who could probably make his own decisions. Tom, thanks so much for ringing. Let's go to Becky in Nottinghamshire. Becky, what do you think?
I like my kids on social media. I think most adults are worse than children, actually.
And when you say worse, do you mean more addicted or less able to put the phone down and just staring at the screen all the time? Is that what you mean?
Well, yeah, both ways, and bullying and...
Oh, the adults are bullying to other adults. Well, Rachel's certainly the recipient of a hell of a lot of that the whole time. It's true, and I bet you've had some pretty nasty comments too, haven't you, in addition to the admiration and the fans. I mean, as soon as you're kind of out there, it can be absolutely hideous, right?
Yeah, people are very... brave behind a computer screen or, sitting at home typing away. I don't receive a ton of negativity, but I do read it, and it's just,
Does it get to you? Does it upset you?
Not me. I'm pretty thick-skinned, and I know myself pretty well to know that they're just people just venting things.
All right, question, why do you read it?
Because it doesn't get to me. If it were something that I have a dear friend on the show, and it gets to her, and I say, stop reading the comments because it really does get to her. I think if you're someone who it does bother, you should just absolutely not read it.
I think it's different for us because we don't know anyone that's saying these things. But we were lucky that when we were at school, you go home from school and you're in the safety of your home. Yeah. You're not, on social media, and it's when you get, it's bullying with people that you know that's, can be really upsetting.
Well,
I'm grateful I didn't have it.
As a child, it never stops. It's 24 hours a day. The phone at the end of your hand, virtually connected umbilically to you, like any other body part. You can't put it down. You can't stop staring at it. You're reliant on the dopamine. I mean, Saskia's coming in a minute. She will, explain a bit more about what it does to your brain, this kind of addiction to the phone. But we're all doing it. We do it the whole time. How many of us reach for it the very first thing before we're even awake? You're already feeling for the phone to see if anybody's sent you a flipping message. It's absolutely absurd, but almost irresistible. And built to be like that by geniuses in Silicon Valley.
I mean, it's all about money, isn't it? So there is like an amazing opportunity for someone if they want to develop, you know, a healthy social media that kids can go on, that isn't going to send them harmful material, that's going to protect them from predators, all the rest of it. I mean, there's money in that. Come on, guys, get out there, make something useful.
Well, absolutely. Only there doesn't seem to be much of an appetite for it. And I think our caller who said, you know, the adults are worse, is not wrong. I mean, how many times do we see people, especially, I'm always astounded by the couples who you might see having dinner, both of them staring fixedly at their phones. I mean, no conversation, no flirtation, no nothing, just nothing. No chemistry, no arguments, just nothing. Nothing at all.
I mean, you're talking about the art and the AI. We did an art thing the other day, and it's so mindful just to put your screens down and do something creative, and just make it. We are way too addicted. We need things to draw us in. We need more art classes. We need more paintbrushes in our.
Well, we're seeing you being creative there. What are you doing there, Rachel?
We did a family art thing, art hubs. We went and we made this picture. We had Sharpies and we had pastels and we had paint, and we got this beautiful thing to show from it. It was just this like blissful couple of hours away from screens, spending family time, being mindful. It was lovely. Lovely.
Well, coming up on the programme, do stay with us because we're staying on this topic. It's a big deal. What can parents do to manage their children's social media usage, or indeed deal with their own anxieties about it? And don't forget, later on we're going to be talking about George Clooney saying that he and his wife of 10 years, Amal, never argue. Maybe if you're that rich, there's nothing to fight about. Maybe if that good looking, there's nothing to fight about. But what we're asking you at home is, have you never argued with your partner? Do such couples really exist? Or maybe you fight with yours and you love your fiery relationship. All of that coming up after this short break.
This is freedom.
Join Michael Portillo on a captivating journey through Milan.
This is the Italy of design and fashion. Wherever you look, it is a glorious sight.
Michael Portillo's Travel Diaries continues tonight at 9. Watch, stream on 5.
Introducing a series of programs celebrating the very best of the 70s, including the 1970s Diet, Morecambe and Wise, The Unseen Tapes, Eurovision in the 70s, plus many, many more. Celebrate the 70s. Weekends in April. Watch, stream on 5.
Home and Away is visiting some old friends. But there's trouble in paradise.
Can we help you?
Digging! Where are they?
Home and Away, weekdays at 1:45 or stream first weekday mornings on 5.
Welcome back. We're live on air. Rachel Riley and Amanza Smith are still here with me. We're joined now by child and adolescent therapist Saskia Joss. Great to see you. Don't forget, we're going to be talking in a minute about arguing with your partner. Do you ever do it? Maybe you never do. George and Amal Clooney never argue, not once in the whole marriage. Yeah, right. But do get in touch and I'll speak to you about it a bit later. First of all, though, your calls on what parents can do about their children's life on social media. Should they do their very best to keep them off it? Should they say, I'm not your friend, I'm your parent, you're just not going on it? Should they check their accounts? 0207 862 2222 is the number. Do give us a ring. Saskia, you're here with advice. Parents are worried because I think they feel it's unfamiliar territory. They've exposed their kids to the Wild West and they're not quite sure what to do.
That's right. So obviously we know now, and there's lots more and more data all the time that shows that children on social media will feel naturally more anxious than children without it, and depressed. And the reason why is that being on a screen depresses your other chemicals. The things that you'll be getting your joy from outside of the screen are not there, but you get a big payment of dopamine, which feels exciting and successful, but it's not very, it's not much to hold on to. So as soon as you come off the screen, you're sort of empty, and it makes children feel depressed after being on social media. And it also makes experiences after being on the phone less enjoyable. A bit like if you were to eat a chocolate bar and then eat a piece of fruit, you'd think fruit is all right, but chocolate bars are better. Yeah. And that's what happens when we've been on social media.
Well, this is absolutely fascinating. Did you know? I didn't know that it was known to depress children, because why would any loving parent want to do something or give their child access to something that would depress them?
I think the thing that's really interesting about social media is if you were to ask your children, what are you looking at? They might say, oh, I like dance videos. There's loads of people dancing. Or, oh, I like videos of football goals. That's what I love watching. And that's what my TikTok gives me, or that's what my Instagram gives me. But actually, it isn't just that. It's lots of other content that comes in between. Mindless content, or your favourite slime video isn't something that would necessarily depress you. But because the algorithm wants you to stay longer, it will often offer things that are harmful, dangerous, scary. We know, for example, the TikTok algorithm loves videos with blood in it. It loves protest. It loves war videos, which is why people see so many of those things on their feeds, even children. And they might be interspersed between more innocuous content, like a slime video, but they are still there. And there was a study by a newspaper in Ireland that found that an account they set up for a 13-year-old boy was being shown self-harm content within 13 minutes of scrolling.
Self-harm content for a 13-year-old boy?
Things that are scary and horrible that children shouldn't see will be interspersed between what they do want to see, which makes it harder for them to get off because they're intrigued, and also they like the other stuff that's much more easy to digest. But there'll be other things that we can't predict inside it, which will make children feel confused, worried and isolated, and then they're left by themselves alone because they are literally sitting alone with the screen.
Oh my God. Gosh, I feel like running and screaming from the studio. Gosh. No. So what can parents do to protect their children from this?
There are lots of things parents can do. One is to try and find ways to entice their children off the screens rather than thinking they just love it. It means that they're really calm in the evening. We're not going to have an argument. I think, what else can I do that would be more positive? Can we hang out as a family? Can we go out somewhere? Can we go for a walk around the block after dinner instead? Even breaking up their social media windows will give them more chance to create better chemicals and relationships with you while they're around. And I think it's also making sure they're doing the other good things. So you're balancing out what they do in terms of the hours they're on social media with good sleep, good eating, other healthy behaviours like washing and dressing properly and making sure they're organised and happy for school. I think it's making sure that they are well-rounded. If your children can't come off social media now, it's more complicated, but I would fill their lives with better things that sort of are more nourishing so that the moments of social media don't make as much impact.
But how do you counter the thing that you just described so brilliantly, that if you've just been on social media watching an explosion, watching something, you know, that's all fizzing, all buzzing, all bright lights, then you put the phone down, you pick up a book and you think, a bit like you said, you know, you've just eaten a big bar of chocolate, then you try and eat an apple and you think, ugh. How do you stop that child thinking, real life is just so pale and rubbish. You know, what I really love is that fabulous thing on my phone, which I think is what most grown-ups think. The same thing. You know, I'm here having dinner with my beloved spouse, but can I be bothered to talk to him? Well, no, I'd much rather look at my phone and watch someone falling down a well or something. This is, you know, someone else, a total stranger, eating a croissant. This is just absolutely riveting. You, my beloved, who wants to talk to you? I don't.
I think you can implement screen-free evenings at your own house. Right. Firstly, so you can think, once we're all in the house for a good 2 hours, we'll put the phones where we all will. I will set a good example for my children by having a phone jail that I put my phone in for a bit when I get home. So I really have talked to them, looked at them, engaged them, asked them about their day and shown them the good joys we get from actual interaction. I think the other thing is, if you feel a bit nervous about doing it yourself at your own house, like limiting something your children already have, speak to your school. Make sure your school are putting in place a social media ban for children during the day, that there are, you know, lots of schools now in London particularly are starting smartphone-free school hours. Your child might need a brick phone for while they're at school, but that means that there's much less bullying, much less people showing each other content that they shouldn't see, that other families might limit, and it limits the access that children have during the hours where they're being unpoliced, because there are so many children in schools, no one can watch them personally. At your own house, children can be watched. I think one of the other things is, if your children are scrolling, have them in the living room rather than their bedroom, so that you can see them, and over your shoulder while you're cooking, you can see, oh gosh, that doesn't look right, and then you quickly jump in and check on what they've just seen.
Saskia, it was only rerun. She's my daughter, if I haven't really said that already.
Yes.
But she was only just listening to watching reruns of Saved by the Bell, which
love it.
I felt like it's only fair that I was watching the same one over and over again.
I just yelled through the dining room door. I just yelled to her, "You've seen that episode before. That was about as dangerous as it ever got."
I was close enough for you to hear.
Yeah, I could hear.
I think that's the other thing. Like, lots of parents, you know, we've all seen now adolescents and how this feeling that your child can be in your home, but they're being exposed to things that you can't understand or you haven't seen, and it's freaked out lots of parents all over the world, and you can see why. If you didn't realise that there was threat to your child in your own house, you've caused yourself a bit of a shock, thinking of all the damage you've got to repair.
Absolutely. Let's go to Sharon. Sharon's on the line in Staffordshire. Hi, Sharon. You're on to Saskia, you're on to Rachel, you're on to Amanza. We're all here. What would you like to say?
Sharon.
Hi.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
Oh, Vanessa, I think you're amazing. Your show's amazing, and I've been a fan of yours forever.
You're a darling, and I couldn't love you more. You're obviously a woman of great judgment and perspicacity, no question about it. What would you like to say, my love?
Now, Vanessa, my issue is that I think the parents are the problem when it comes to these children on social media. I think they should be on social media probably 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening, and that's it. Right. Now, they're blaming these tech companies. No, it's not the tech companies. It's the parents. It's your children. You're supposed to be guiding your children. You should not let them stay on social media. Vanessa, I'm going to tell you a short story quickly. My partner and I was out for lunch the other day, and we went to this really nice restaurant. The mother, the father, the two children were on the table next to us, and not one of them communicated with each other. Yep. They were all on their phones while they were out for lunch. Now, I think that is absolutely shocking. I really do. And I think that is why we've got so much children with mental health issues in this country. I really do think that's the problem.
All right, Sharon, let's let Saskia respond just and see what she says.
So there's definitely a correlation between screen usage, particularly for children, and mental health issues. We're beginning to see it more and more in all the studies that are around. I think you're absolutely right. Part of it is about parenting. You've got to think, what do we want to do in our family? And if you haven't been setting strict rules on it, if you haven't made a sort of, for example, a screen time limit or a screen time schedule for your family, this might be the moment to reconsider how many hours. You know, you said one hour in the morning, 1 hour in the evening. I would say that probably sounds like too much to me. I'm not saying there should be no screen time or no TV time for anyone. That's not the case. But what we're looking for is opportunities to connect and be together that outweigh this experience of being alone on your phone. So we all have to work harder. We all have to speak more to each other, say clever things, be interesting, ask our children questions rather than looking at our own phones. And we have to find time where we can actually enjoy what's actually available, like going outside, doing fun things, cooking together, all the sort of immersive, squishy, squashy, bright, real things will eventually get our children's brains back in order so that they're more likely to be able to experience the world properly. And we've seen that children are losing social skills. They go to each other's houses for parties and they all sit there scrolling. They're not snogging.
Tragic,
they're not, they're not
even,
you know.
I don't know whether you do snogging in America or not.
I don't know.
Snogging is kissing with tongues.
Deep kissing with tongues.
Okay.
Which they're not even
meant to be kissing with tongues as far as I'm concerned. Later teenagers, not younger children, but as soon as you feel ready to do it, people should be kissing with tongues and getting on with their exploring their things that they do, and they're not. No one's snogging. What's happened to everyone?
Exactly.
Because they're on their phones, they're not snogging. And I think if there was one thing to switch you back on to make real life feel like a chocolate bar, it's a snog with someone you fancy.
I want to go to Spencer because Spencer is having problems with, I think, her children. Hello there. Spencer?
Hello there, Vanessa. You all right?
Yes, I'm fine, thank you. Tell me what's going on with your children.
Well, it's basically from the phone into my home.
Right.
So things will happen on social media, but then obviously it starts to affect their actual lives.
For example, what kind of a thing are we talking about?
So, for example, my daughter could be walking out. She's gone to the shop to get me some milk, and a boy will approach her and say, "Can I have your snap?" They have a snap. They connect. Next thing you know, they're in a relationship or something along those lines.
What?
They're getting into relationships very quickly, is what you mean?
Absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely.
Gosh.
I mean, I think there's always, particularly with younger children, that thing where they think they're boyfriends and girlfriends, but they don't really know each other. That happens with sort of children between somewhere like 9 and 14. That they, you know, once you saw a boy on the bus and you say that's my boyfriend, but you don't really know each other. You don't really go out with each other, but you sort of claim that they're your boyfriend. That's very normal, I would say, and it has been forever. I don't think that's the thing. Obviously, what we're looking for is that we're trying to teach our children safe relational boundaries so that they don't just go on a date with someone they've met in the street. They don't go to their home, and we try and teach our children actively that there are ways to have safe relationships. 1 is to respect your own body. 2 is to make sure you're doing things safely. 3 is that you let your parents know where you are and who you're with. And then we can be respectful and ensure that our children will be allowed and okay to get into more adult relationships as they get older. Once they're 15 plus, they can handle those sorts of things.
I mean, this may sound really elementary, but do you think it's true to say that one of the crucial things about this is just talk about it.
100%.
Just talk about it. You know, don't just let them kind of waft off and, you know, months, years later, you're thinking, oh, I wonder what they were looking at then. I wonder what
Ask your children what kind of videos and content they're watching. Ask your children if it perturbs them, if it's the same thing everyone else is watching, if there are things about the things they watch that make them feel uncomfortable. Ask them to talk through with you when they found something that is different from what they have seen. Make sure they know they can talk to you about whatever comes up, because that's what parenting is. It's being a safe place for our children when things are going wrong, whatever's going wrong.
Okay, question. I'll ask all of you actually, do you think it's important, yours are too little yet, but to discuss porn and what it is and how it isn't actual real people and how most people really have sex? It's a completely different thing. It's a business. It's not, you know, to kind of deconstruct it for kids so that when they're shown it, which they definitely will be, and when they're excited by it, which they definitely will be, whether they feel guilty about it or not, you've at least prepared them a bit for what they're seeing so that they're not brainwashed into thinking kind of that's the kind of sex that people are having all the time and that's the only kind of sex that there is. Do you think that's right, Amanza?
I think it's important, yeah. My kids are 13 and 15 and I have a young boy. I definitely want him to know that that's not how you respect a female body. Like, porn is not the norm. Everything needs to be consensual. That's one. And then just that there's certain things that maybe look like pleasure on porn that
are not exactly
life.
that most women probably don't enjoy and wouldn't respond in that way. Maybe some would, but most really wouldn't. And you need to know 100%. That stuff.
And then Saskia, my daughter's 15, and you know, same with her. But yeah, I started talking about these things about like a year ago. Yeah, maybe 2 years ago.
I think that's exactly the right sort of time. We don't want to bring it up for children that are much too young and make them think they're meant to know about something for adults. The whole point of sexual relationships is they are for adults and consenting people who can fully understand the things they're joining in with. That includes kissing, touching, all different kinds of sexual acts are only for adults. So we have to make sure that our children understand that primarily. If they've seen something that is sexual in nature, it is not for you because you are not an adult, and the videos have been made for adults. Right. So if you've seen something that is sexual and confusing and isn't for you, it's because it isn't for you. Right. You weren't meant to see it. Let me explain what it is. It's something that is not for you. And if you've seen it, come and tell me, because if you've seen videos of people naked, it's obviously not for you.
Thank you, Saskia, very much indeed. Don't forget, we're going to be talking about arguing with your partner. Maybe you think it's normal and a healthy part of every relationship. Maybe you never do it. 0207 862 2222 after this break.
At Wren, get a Neff dishwasher for just $149 in our spring sale. The Great Renovation.
Get that Euro Millions feeling with this Friday's £65 million jackpot. Euro Millions from the National Lottery.
Don't miss out on HSL's Easter sale. Save up to 25% on chairs designed for easier sitting and rising, back care support chairs, posture support sofas, and reclining swivels. All available in sizes tailored to fit you. Come and experience our exclusive chair fitting service at one of our 55 showrooms nationwide, or call the number below to arrange a free home visit and take advantage of the great offers in our HSL Easter sale. Hurry, ends 5th of May. T's and C's apply.
If you took out motor finance between April 2007 and January 2021, it's estimated you could be owed thousands in compensation. Many major lenders may have charged you higher interest rates than they should have, like Black Horse, who have already set aside $450 million for refunds. With many drivers across the UK affected and claims forecast by experts to be worth billions, visit financeclaimsexperts.co.uk to check for free if you have a case.
It's important to take care of your loved ones, isn't it? That's why sorting out your will really matters. But we all want to help leave the world a better place too. Leaving a gift for my favourite charities will be my lasting good deed. But that's where I got stuck. How do I get started and choose the charities to include? Well, this free guide from the Salvation Army explains everything. From writing and updating my will to deciding which charities to support. I'm leaving a gift to the Salvation Army. They've done so much good over the years. And they promise to serve the most vulnerable people without discrimination.
Around half of our donations come from gifts in wills, big and small. Take the first step today. Call 0800 977 8282 or search Salvation Army Good Deed to get your free guide.
I'd like to leave behind a fairer, kinder world.
Play Happy Tiger Bingo for the most awesome bingo winning experience. Simply search for Happy Tiger Bingo. Happy Tiger.
Your happy place can become unhappy when bad odours wait at home.
Use new Febreze plug-in. Just insert the refill and plug it into the socket. Its 3-in-1 action constantly fights odors, gives noticeable freshness, and lasts long. So you always come home to your happy place with a clean and fresh scent you love. Enjoy Febreze plug-in with 3-in-1 action.
Celebrate the 70s this weekend with the Jubilee of 77. Pomp, pageantry and parties. And looking ahead now to Sunday, we have the 1970s, Those Were the Days, followed by the 70s, Everything We Loved and Lost. Celebrate the 70s this weekend, Saturday from 9 on 5.
Welcome back. We're live on 5. Rachel Riley and Amanza Smith are still here with me, but we'd like your calls on this one. Do you ever argue with your partner? 0207 862 2222. Do give us a ring. Why are we asking? Because George Clooney says that he and his wife Amal have never argued, not once.
It's not what she says.
No, in more than 10 years of marriage. They're parents to Alexander and Ella, 7-year-old twins. You might think that might cause some marital strife. Apparently not, because maybe if you've got cooks, nannies, drivers and all that kind of thing, you don't get cross with each other. There's a big article in the Mail today. It's my friend Bryony Gordon, and she's written a whole piece on, oh my God, you know, how can you possibly not argue or something? It's all over the front page, if I could even find the front page. So obviously we need to hand over to you two and ask whether you think it's possible to have a relationship without arguments.
Well, shall I go for the maths angle?
Yeah, go for the maths angle.
There's Hannah Fry, the brilliant mathematician. She wrote a book on the maths of love.
Yeah.
And they found that statistically, couples that do argue and get over the small things are more likely to stay together longer, because then when the big things come up, you're more equipped to deal with it.
Really?
Which I think is quite interesting. But then saying that, Pasha and I don't argue very much.
Really not?
Well, you know, we know how to have an argument. So we wouldn't go to bed annoyed, and kind of, if we have an argument, we know that we both need a bit of time. He'll go off for a bit, calm down, and then come back and we'll discuss it. And, you know, we can be open with each other, so it's quite nice. And
I mean, in your relationships, have you found that arguing is a good thing? Some people think it kind of punctuates and it kind of revs up the energy, then you can make up afterwards, that kind of thing.
Listen, I'm single, so I don't know that. I think maybe it hasn't worked out so well for me. No,
same
I would
here.
have to have a partner to know, but I think, you know, I've always heard conflict resolution. Like, it's fine to argue. It's about the resolution.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the important part.
And I love
you can come back together. And then, and also with parenting, like, it's okay for your children to see you argue, but they need to see the result as well. So,
absolutely.
I mean,
but I
can't
still do
imagine.
find it quite hard to imagine a relationship that the Clooneys say they have without any arguments, because after all, you are not your partner and they are not you. How can you possibly be in agreement over every single possible thing, even the small things? How can you be?
I don't know, but I love the languages of love. Do you know the languages of love?
Yeah.
I'm just obsessed with that. So there was a guy called Gary Chapman who's a marriage counsellor, and he said he had these couples on and they would always have the same things. She'd be like, you know, he doesn't love me, he never shows me, and he's like, what are you talking about? I take the bins out every day and I go to work. And her language might be in words of affirmation and quality time, and his love language is acts of service.
Yeah.
So it's all about knowing how you receive love and how someone gives love. And once you kind of know that, you see the way that someone might be expressing their love, and you can appreciate that. And they know how you want to receive love, so they can say nice things to you or just sit on the sofa and put their phone down. And I think it's great. It sounds like a little bit, you know, psycho-babbly stuff. And they're always talking about it on Married at First Sight, which is my favourite programme. Apart from Selling Sunset, obviously, and Vanessa, and Countdown. Oh my, what else am I on? But yeah, there's something to it. I think it's really clever.
But the thing that's difficult about the love language thing, if you really go into it, is that, you know, I remember being met at the station by a former partner, and he was holding a coat for me. And to me, this was like the most moving thing on earth. He thought about me. He thought I might be cold. He bothered to carry the coat. He walked to the station. I was nearly on the floor sobbing with gratitude. But he was like, oh, it's nothing. He didn't get why it was a big deal to me. And it's very easy not to get it. So you would dismiss.
So he'd accidentally done your love language.
Totally.
Right.
But totally. I couldn't think of something that made me feel warmer, more cared for. You know, I don't need someone to buy me a big thing. It was just the thought that he was worried I'd be cold. He came to bring the coat. I just thought it was completely phenomenal. And he was very dismissive of it, and also dismissive of my thanks. I think he may have thought I was exaggerating, but you could see I wasn't. I thought it was fantastic. So it's quite hard to kind of impress upon someone what your own language means to you, isn't it?
I think so, but once I just did like the 10-minute online test, and it kind of tells you, so it's written there, so you can get to understand people with this thing written down, which is how my brain works. But once I did it, it made me realise something about my friends as well. I've got this one gorgeous friend, Lindsay, who will buy people presents on her birthday.
Oh, that's
you can't go anywhere without her buying.
Birthday?
February. But her love language is obviously gifts, so that's how she expresses it. But we kind of. Not forget dates, but it's not that important to us. Sometimes you just get a card on your anniversary or whatever, because our love language is more, words of affirmation and saying things and being with each other. But I just think it just helps with all different relationships if you work out what that person wants and why they're acting their way.
First of all, you have to care about what they want.
Absolutely,
and that's another thing. If you think somebody doesn't care a damn about what your love language is, then you're in trouble in the first place. Have a good argument. That's what I say. Natalie says, we have never argued. We had really awful first marriages and we were both treated horrendously. If we disagree on anything, which isn't very often, we talk it over. It's a breath of fresh air, not to be scared to air my thoughts or concerns.
I totally agree.
So it matters a lot about your history, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. I think that there's, arguing can be subtle. It doesn't have to be like this explosive thing. So even discussing something like that, isn't that sort of considered an argument, or is that called a discussion? Like,
this discussion is, I think this and you think this, let's reach consensus. An argument is, I don't think this, I don't agree, and it depends on the level. But before you go, Amanza, what we really want to know about, of course, is the next series of Selling Sunset. This is season 9 that we're about to get here. What is going on?
Definitely no arguments on that television series.
Not at all.
We never have arguments.
So many arguments.
So no drama.
Seriously, are they taken in real life, those arguments?
I mean, it's sad because it is all very real. Like, the drama is very real.
How about the makeup?
The makeup. It's, I try to stay as far away from the drama as possible. Like, we've talked about kids today, and I have a lot of responsibilities at my home, and there's enough arguments there, just raising teenagers by myself. But there really is a lot of arguments. The girls, they take a lot of things seriously between one another, and there's just always something. And so season 9 is no different. You can expect more drama.
And do the two bosses, are they in love with anyone else? There's usually a new girlfriend of some kind, isn't there?
Jason has a new girlfriend.
Oh, good. Well, that's, it's the sun shining on Selling Sunset, Always has to be
and we love her. Her name's Jessica. She's beautiful. She's intelligent. She works for the brokerage.
Right.
And Brett I think he's happily just dating. I don't think he's got any one significant person right now. And we have, more beautiful real estate, high fashion, and drama.
Are we going to see you make any huge sales? I hope so.
I'll leave it as a cliffhanger. I wouldn't hold your breath.
Okay, I won't.
You'll see some art. You'll see. I've just been so into my art.
Listen, it's been fabulous to meet you, Rachel. Thank you so much for coming. Thanks so much to Rachel and Amanza, and thank you for all your calls too. Jeremy's going to be here at 9:15 on Monday morning. I'll be back same time, same place, sitting here on the pink sofa. Until then, do have a wonderful afternoon and a gorgeous weekend. And think about social media and your children. See you soon. Lots of love.